Hi guys, this is Jake with Think Free, Live Free. So the next thing I'm planning is to do the floor. The ribs on the Ram ProMaster is 1/4 of an inch high. So that can kind of give you an idea of how you need to plan out your floor. Spacing between the ribs is about 2 inches. So you'd be able to fit 1.5 inches, 1x2s. The ribs are exactly 1/4 inch. And then the spacing in between here, as you can see, is about 2 inches. So if you're wondering about your floor and you haven't gotten your ProMaster yet and you're pre-planning, here's some information for that. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the van build videos. Today I'm going to try to do the stenciling for the floors, so I'll kind of show you how I'm doing that. So there's a lot of ways to make stencils. I'm going to use this method I'll show you now. I took a Sharpie and my pen and I put it against the wall here, flush with the wall, and to mark my pen I put on the very edge of the cardboard and I hold it tight, and then I move it, I keep them together and I slowly move the pen this way and then around the curve there, and basically you will get your cutout there. So guys, the stenciling is taking forever. Some of it is working. There's just a lot of little turns and things to work with. I'll show you here what I've been doing to cut this out. And I think the piece of cardboard that I'm using is too thick. So if you're doing this, use something pretty thin, like thin cardboard. Yeah, it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. This part's already cut out, so I'm just going to trace that. So as it goes here, trying to get this last little piece. If I hold it with my back finger there, it should trace it exactly where it needs to go on the sheet. My stencil is coming out not completely perfect, so very far from it. So I just want to show you a way that you can fill in the gaps by adding cardboard pieces that you cut and then put on top of the other cardboard. I just use a piece of cardboard and I run this. Put my pen down, put your foot on the cardboard so it doesn't move on you, and then put your pen next to your Sharpie, and then let the Sharpie glide along the wall. You get the line, and then you cut that out and then fit that into the spot. I'm just going to tape that piece right to the cardboard, and then we'll draw it out on the piece of plywood. Guys, this is definitely, this is tough. Even though I kind of have my method down, for some reason it's very tedious. It's taking a long time to just get this one stencil done. Hopefully we'll go faster on the other ones. Alright guys, so I got my stencil done. It took forever. But I think it's gonna come out nice. So the next thing is to put it on the plywood and jigsaw it out. Just take your time with it, people. Doesn't matter how it turns out at the end. It will probably be covered up with something else, so do the best you can and move on. That's my advice. And use thin cardboard, and I think the best way to do this is actually to cut out your big piece as best you can, and then to cut little pieces and tape it to the big piece. I just think it works a lot better. It will probably be a lot faster too. I think it is better just to do a cardboard stencil instead of trying to just quickly cut the plywood and then you're off and you have to keep bringing it in and adjusting it, keep bringing it in and adjusting it. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe I will still have to do that. Learn from my mistakes. Alright guys, just put the template down so that I can trace it out on the piece of plywood. So I just want to show you here. So I'm taking this to the edge, so because that's a straight edge, and then running it along that straight edge. So I'm basically just going to cut that side out and this top piece. It worked? Awesome. Good, good. Alright guys, so I got that piece cut out. I'm just going to sand the edges a little bit and then I'm going to try to test fit it. Alright guys, I'm going to bring the piece of plywood in and we'll try to test fit it and hopefully it fits. Pray. So I'm going to have to cut a little bit more. One more cut, and I think it was just the one edge here at the bottom here. We had this edge there, so I am satisfied with the way it's looking now. It is pretty tight. I think that's good enough. I've had some setbacks this week. It's been raining a lot, and something I didn't tell you, on the way back from Chicago, my check engine light came on, and I went to AutoZone and it pulled the code for the catalytic converter. So today I had to get that replaced. So that's been going on for about a week, organizing that and talking to the dealership and just getting that stuff squared away. So progress has been kind of slow this week. I have not completely finished the floor yet, but I have cut out these pieces for the floor, and I did it in 3 sheets. I did not want a seam to run through the middle. It's nighttime, so I can't do a whole lot. I can't make a lot of noise since I'm in an apartment complex. So I'm just going to be cleaning the overhead. You can see there, it's pretty dirty. Guys, thank you for watching and for following. I really appreciate you guys. I would not be doing this, filming all this, if it wasn't for your support. So I appreciate you watching, and hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. Everything that I use in the build, I will leave links in the description so that it's easier for you guys to access that stuff. It will be affiliate links, so it does help out the channel a bit. I know with my own research, it's really time consuming to look for certain products, and it's nice to just have a link that you can straight go to that if that's something that you want to use. So check the links in the description. Okay guys, thank you. Bulkhead is now clean. I use soap and water. So I'm gonna try to get a full day in today. I have driven to a park here where I'm gonna try to do some work. It's getting a little bit difficult over by my apartment. I'm just making a lot of noise with the sawing and the sanding. I need to cut this piece out a little bit more. It's a little bit tight here. The board is not completely sliding in here. You can see there's quite a bit of a gap. So it's catching here. So I'm going to take a little bit more off there, and then it should fit in a lot better. So as you can see here, this is how I'm laying out my floor underneath. It's going to have these spaces, and then you're going to have the poly ISO that goes in between those spaces. I did a 1/2 inch poly ISO, which is rated at 3.2 R. I did not want to screw into the frame, so I am going to glue it down with liquid nails to the floor, and then I will screw my 3/4 inch plywood into that. So I'm working on this piece right by the door here, coming into the door, and it's got like a bulge right here. So I'm just chiseling this out so that it can sit under that bulge, and so that the piece of wood can lay flat. When I got this van, there were screws, and some of these would not come out, so I had to grind them down. So this is kind of protruding out of the frame, at least like a 1/4 inch. I need this board to run here. Of course I could cut it here and then just continue there. However, I want something strong here, so I decided to just make a little hole there so it kind of fits over that, so now it's flush. I'm gonna head home and glue these pieces down and put something heavy on it using liquid nails. Already cut these big pieces out, so after I got everything glued down, I will put this on top. That was my idea of doing these first, is being able to use this as weight to put on the furring strips. Everything that I had in here I packed on top of the floor to help it glue better. So we'll see how it turns out. So it's another rainy day. It does make it difficult though, because I cannot cut anything outside. So I let the floor settle for a day and let the liquid nails dry really good. However, it says to leave it for a couple of days so it can fully cure. So today all I'm going to focus on is pulling up the plywood boards, and then I'm going to cut the polyiso to fill into the gaps between the furring strips. So I'm going to pull this board up. You can see this is how the floor came out. The liquid nails sat overnight and dried. They're extremely solid. So the polyiso will go here in between this 1/2 inch gap, and then I will tape the seams on the side here. So I have decided that I'm gonna put a couple of strips of sound deadening material down in these areas. Not the entire van, but just in some areas where I think it might be louder than others. I think especially in the back here between the wheel wells. And as you can hear there, it's raining again like crazy. So yeah, I'm just trying to do my best with this weather. I've kind of moved the boards over to the side here so I can do this side first, and then I'll move the boards back over to this side and do the other side. So you got to do the best with what you got. Okay, so I just finished the sound deadener. I had some extra sound deadener left, so I figured it can't hurt putting a couple of strips on the floor in the middle of the panels to help out with noise. Just cut them in strips and place them on the flat part of the floor in the valleys. So basically this is how I'm going to measure it and cut it. So I'm going to take the end of my tape measure, and you see here 10 inches. I'm right at the edge there, and all you do, instead of cutting it or putting a pencil mark right here, just hold down your 10 inches and push your tape measure in. So now you got your mark right there. I'm just going to go down the line and do the same thing here. So So the progress so far with the polyiso board, I got the first 3 in, running big pieces all the way to the cab. So we'll just continue like that. So guys, I just wanted to show you the floor. So the next thing that I need to do is tape it, and I still need to finish this back part. But I'm having to do it in sections because I have to keep moving these boards around because it's raining outside. So it's 11 p.m. I'm gonna call it a day. The floor is mostly done. I have finished completely taping all the seams where the wood and the polyiso come together, so that no air can come up through there. So I'm going to show you how everything looks. I'm sorry, my battery died at some point on that hyperlapse, so this is what I have completed. So here's a shot of the floor completely done. You can see there, it's the trim, it's very tightly trimmed to the wall. So tomorrow I will cut out the polyiso for those pieces, and then I'll tape it and I'll throw that floor on there, and then we can just screw the floor down and the floor will be done. So I just quickly wanted to talk to you about pricing for the floor. So I wanted to go with 1/2 inch plywood, but I ended up going with 3/4 inch. The 1/2 inch was actually more expensive, which was weird. But I paid $46 per sheet of 3/4 inch 4x8 sheet. I needed 3, so the total that I spent was $226 on the floor. That includes screws, the foil tape, the polyiso insulation. I guess this is a little bit better than polyiso. This is RMAT +3, so it provides 3.2 R value on the 1/2 inch. Also, the furring strips was like $32, I think, for 16 8-foot pieces, 1x2s. Plywood is ridiculously expensive right now. Like, I have never seen plywood that expensive. I remember paying like $30 for a piece of plywood, and now they're $46. So guys, I just wanted to thank you for watching. If you like the content, please hit the like button, please subscribe. It helps the channel grow. I hope this helps in some way on your own van builds, or if you're just having fun watching these kind of builds. It's a lot of work. You run into a lot of issues and problems, but everything can be worked out. So just keep that in mind, and keep pushing forward, keep moving forward. You will eventually get to the end of it. Just a heads up, floors are extremely tedious. If your ProMaster does not come with the factory inlay, the carpet, and you don't have that template, it is quite a lot of work to get that template going and to get it perfectly nice so that your plywood fits in there perfectly. So be prepared to spend quite a bit of time on this floor. I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. Bye.